Hey everybody, welcome back. We're going through Mark chapter 8 today, and we're just excited to start this with you. We're going to talk about a specific portion when Jesus is asking the disciples who they say that he is. And Peter responds, "You are the Christ." And Jesus charged them to tell no one about him. And Jesus began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer many things, be rejected by the elders and the chief priests and scribes, and be killed, and after 3 days rise again. And he said this plainly. Then Peter took Jesus and began to rebuke him. But turning and seeing his disciples, Jesus rebuked Peter and said, "Get behind me, Satan, for you are not on the side of God, but of men." And he called to him the multitude with his disciples and said to them, "If any man would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever would save his life will lose it, and whoever loses his life for my sake and the gospel's will save it."
Yeah, and that just reminds me of a time when I first started going to prayer and going to God in prayer and kind of like asking him for things. At first it was like I want this and I want that, but that's not really prayer, right? And it was hard to build that habit of prayer. I didn't want to in the beginning, but I committed to doing 30 minutes every day. And that was a pretty hard challenge. But it was so worth it in the end. And at first I remember telling one of my friends that it was like I was calling God and that he wasn't answering me and that I was just leaving voicemails. And that's what it felt like. And it wasn't until maybe 3 weeks of constant prayer every single day where I really felt like he was calling me, because that's the reality, is that he's constantly calling us. We just need to pick up the phone.
Oh, so true, Katie. And we can agree that it's not always easy in prayer, but it is always worth it. And I know you hear this is the general call, pray more. But once you take that seriously, you realize that there's such great joy and peace that comes from praying. Now you have a trust in God and rather than in yourself. And he's with you throughout the day. Even though he already is, you just recognize that in your life. And like Katie was saying, anything that's worth going after is worth struggling for. So you got to strive for this relationship. You make sacrifices to be with the people you love. And we just encourage you to take some time out of your day to be with God, who loves you. And we encourage you just to take some time in prayer. And Katie will come up with a challenge. But before she does, I just want to say that you've all heard the saying that you become basically the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And if you're spending a lot of time with God in prayer, you're going to become more like Christ, more loving, and a greater witness to your family and friends. And Katie has a challenge for you here too.
Yeah, so I just want to challenge you guys, hit that snooze button one last time. A lot of people, I think one of my problems was oh, well, I don't have 5 extra minutes every day. I'm a busy person. Well, once you hit that snooze button, there you found 5 minutes. Another example is putting your shoes under your bed at night. It's so simple and it sounds kind of silly, but if you just put your shoes under your bed and you have to go on your knees to go get them, so why not say a couple prayers while you're down there? Yeah, just 5 minutes, that's all it takes. And then once you've built that habit of 5 minutes every day, add 5 more. That's so simple. That's all it takes. And it's so worth it in the end. I definitely noticed the way that I love the people around me is changed because of the fact that, like Tyler said, that I've become more like Christ because I go to him in prayer. Prayer isn't just to help your relationship with God, it is your relationship.